Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Happy Saturday. And I'm glad that we get to hang out together on Saturday night. So we do have two special guests tonight, and that's Dylan Tallman and Jaime. They're going to come and talk about the book that we read in my previous live, if you guys were there, about Dylan's time being in the cell next door to Chris Watts. But we have a few minutes before we have them on. Okay, so, oh my gosh, technology is not my friend tonight. Like, nothing is working correctly. The internet, or them joining the panel, I think that they're going to try to call on the phone, and we're going to do this over speakerphone. That seems like the way that it's going to work best. We were kind of trying to get that organized before we started. So let me say hello to you guys. Then I have a few things that I want to say, and then we'll get right into it. Hey Delaney, by the way, Delaney, thank you for being a member for 10 months. I appreciate that so much. Hey Cement Shoes, hey Dave G, hey Tony, Roro, Michelle, hey Riley, hey Nurse Kristen, Autism Mom, Neat Noodle, Roro, Adrian, Bendy, Nana, Kathy. Thank you guys for being here. Hey, Sprinkled Donut, Michelle. So Jaime is a friend of Dylan's. And when we read through the book, she had came into the chat, and then we spoke after. You know, you never know who's in a live chat. So we spoke after, and they agreed to come on and talk about the book and all that kind of stuff. Okay, thank you. Yeah, hey, Christine G. Yes, he is. So exactly, Mayla's mom. So a couple things before we get started. First of all, I wanted to do a review of the book, and I'm still going to, like a short video that gives the highlights. I just haven't had the time like I thought I was going to have to get that done, but that will be coming soon. You don't have to agree. You can have any opinion you want, but I please ask that you keep it respectful, because look, this is just the way I feel about it. First of all, I've seen some of the awful things that have been said to both of them, and specifically Jaime, and even family members and all kinds of stuff like that. It's gotten, people can be really nasty online. That's no secret. I personally really want to hear the story, and hear about writing the book and all that stuff. And we can't expect somebody to come out and tell their story if we're, really hateful and nasty and that kind of stuff, which I know you guys won't be, but I want to say that. So for me, this is the way I see it. And I do have an article I want to show you guys before we have this interview. Since 2018, there haven't been a lot of people that have gotten really close to Chris. Actually, there's only one that I know of, right? Well, I guess maybe a YouTuber here or there, or, but one person that was with him all the time and got to be close friends with him, and that was Dylan. And if you look back through old interviews he's done and things like that, his story has remained consistent. Like, there were so many points in the book that we had heard previously from interviews or whatever. So I want to hear the story. And I appreciate them coming on to answer some questions, because I wrote down a bunch, and so I have also ordered the second book. So we might end up doing a part 2. We probably won't have time to take a lot of questions tonight, because I've written down several. But if you do have any questions, you can leave them in the chat afterwards for next time. Also, if you're on the replay, the first few minutes of this, you're going to want to skip if you just want to hear the interview. Okay. I bought the book, need to read it. Jaime was so sweet in the chat last time. She's a doll for sure. Yeah, I really liked her. She was very, very kind and easy to talk to. And I just, like I said, you can have any opinion you want. You don't have to agree. You don't have to whatever. But we got to keep it classy and kind, even when, however you feel. You know what I mean? So, okay. That's understandable. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Oh, Lil Red, thank you for being a member for 8 months, 232 more months. And I get my gold watch. Absolutely. Hey, Fragrant Anxiety. Hey, Cray Cray. Dylan was Chris's friend and became best friends. They had a book that came out. It was published for a short period of time. Remember, we heard about that book a long time ago that it was supposed to come out. So, okay. Hi, Alexandria McCraw. All right, you guys. So let me show you this article because this was kind of interesting, and this is a good beginning into this interview. And I showed this last time as well. In the video, I was just listening to it before we started, and he's the love letters and stuff. It just makes me sick. I don't know. That's what's on the screen right there. In my heart, you're a great guy. But anyways, Chris Watts spends his days at Dodge Correctional Institute working as a custodian, according to the WDOC, and largely keeps to himself. He does spend time corresponding with a number of pen pals, most of whom, if not all, seem to be female. Also, you know what? I might be scattered. I got some comments about that, and it's a tough subject. I just want to say, reading that book, even though it wasn't graphic, there were some parts, and I'm going to review the second part. I might do it slightly differently, and I might not, because I don't think it's going to be as graphic as what I was anticipating. But this is a tough story to talk about. It's nerve-wracking, you know what I mean? And there's so many parts to it, and this has been going on for years, where all of these pieces to this puzzle, there's little parts here and there that you kind of have to tie together, so it's hard, Most of us are eager to hear from people that are willing to interview or talk about cases where people, etc. So I'm looking forward to hearing their opinions. Teacup, we're doing some fireworks tonight too. I saw you said that. Hey, hippie chick, welcome to the club. #ScatteredAF. Yeah, I mean, look, some of this stuff is tough to talk about anyways, and that's just that. I need to ask Dylan if Chris got any new prison ink. Christine, and I'm so happy to see you. I hope everything's going good with you and your recent move. Okay, so on August the 13th of 2018, a Colorado father of two with a third baby on the way appeared on TV begging the public for any information about his missing wife and children. Days later, Chris Watts would confess to the murder of his wife Shanann and their unborn baby, and shortly after that admit that he also strangled his daughters Bella and Celeste. Watts eventually agreed to a plea deal in order to avoid a possible death penalty conviction, and 5 years later is serving a term of 5 life sentences in a Wisconsin prison. That reminds me of something I wanted to ask. Okay, just made sure I had that question. I'm sorry, you guys. Watts eventually, I read that already. Inside Edition spoke with the Wisconsin Department of Corrections, which said that the Colorado Department of Corrections decided to transfer Watts out of the state prison system after a security incident a month into his sentence, which is how he became an inmate at Dodge Correctional Institute. Watts spends his days at Dodge working as a custodian, according to the WDOC, and largely keeps to himself. He does spend time corresponding with a number of pen pals, most of whom are female. Heard about that in the book some, about all the letters that Chris gets. And I have a question about that, or I'm going to ask a little bit more regarding that. The mail he gets, any potential money, any commissary items they might buy him. I want to know a little more about that. But in letters, some of these women proclaim that Watts is innocent of his crimes, despite the fact that he still admits to the murders. Watts even confirmed the grisly details of the murders to one of these pen pals who spoke to Inside Edition in 2021. Sherilyn Cadle said that Watts told her he had been planning to kill his family for months and shared a letter in which the killer dad said that the reason Shanann had oxy in her system at the time of her death was because he had been drugging her in hopes that it might terminate her pregnancy. He talked about it so nonchalantly, like going down to get a cup of coffee, Cadle said. The person who may have grown the closest to Watts in the past 5 years, though, is Dylan Tallman, a fellow inmate at Dodge. Tallman tells Inside Edition Digital that he, too, believes Watts is innocent. Now, I'm going to ask him about this, and I think he'll tell you, but I've already spoke to them, and this is one of the first things he said to me. He was kind of like, oh, by the way, you had said on that live that I think he's innocent. No, I don't. He doesn't even think that, which, like I said, I'll wait and we'll hear more from him because that's in one of my questions. But the person who did this interview, I believe that the way Dylan that explained it to me, and we'll hear it, was that he had said that he didn't believe the evidence, or the theory rather, that's out there and widely known, that he did this alone was exactly what happened. But that's kind of what I took from it. Like I said, I'll ask him with you guys. But the men grew close after being placed in neighboring cells at Dodge, where Tallman has been an inmate on and off for the past 4 years. The men grew so close that they self-published a book of prayers entitled Revelation and the Reckoning. So it was not titled that. It was a 40-day devotional. And I'm not really sure why that mistake is here. But regardless, they did publish a book together. They had worked on this book of prayers together. And even prior to that, Dylan had published a book, I do believe. So let me check on you guys in the chat, and then we're going to keep going. Oh, Curious Christine, thank you for joining. I appreciate that so much. Oh, and MK, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I appreciate that. Thank you. And you guys, I do have a new email, by the way, for you guys. And I don't know, I'm running a contest, but I haven't had many entries because I want to find ways to give back to you. So I decided, by the way, just a little side note, if you have any pictures of your fireworks, send them to me, and I'm going to choose my favorites and send an Amazon gift card or a Cash App or whatever you prefer. But you have to send it to the new email address. Send it to alexerickson@gmail.com. Hey, Abellis. Yeah, it was old Kim's channel name. I know. I was thinking about that. Hey, Beach Bum. There's no way in Burning Flames that Chris didn't do it. The question is, did NK help? That's where I'm at. Nope, not today. That's exactly where I'm at. Okay, you guys, just one second. They are calling, so hold on. So, Jaime just called. Like I said, we had some technical issues, so they can't join the panel that way. I'm going to put it on speaker for this interview. You guys let me know if you can hear them. Can you guys say something?
Hey guys, how's everybody tonight?
Yay.
Can you clearly?
I can hear you guys.
Can they hear
We can hear you good.
Okay, good. And it'll take a second for the chat to answer. Hey, sweet Melissa. Yes, they hear. Awesome. Okay, well, how are you guys tonight?
Good.
I'm doing good.
Well, thank you for agreeing to come on and answer some questions. I appreciate that so much. And the way that I'm going to do it is I have questions for both of you. I'm going to try to gear them individually towards you guys. That way, for like so nobody gets confused. But also feel free to speak up at any time as well. Is that okay? Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, so.
Yeah, I wanted to. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You were saying about the books and the title. No, it's the title. It was a God's Plan series, and there's 7 books. There's a 40-day devotional, poetic knowledge, epistles, history through the ages, proverbial knowledge, and because of the complications like that I was talking about with the 40-day devotional being taken down, that was because the third-party representative that was representing him said that was his intellectual property, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" He just told his dad that he was sending me permission to do this. Now that I publish it, put my time and money into it, then this happens. And then I asked his parents, and he said he was sending me a letter. That wasn't him. But he didn't want to send permission. There were all these excuses about some girl being mad about it, because she didn't want other people writing him also that like other girls. Like that's too late for that. He gets plenty fan mail, but also that yeah, something about Colorado, the lawsuit thing. I think that wrongful death lawsuit didn't kick in yet. Like they weren't taking his money for it, and also he's afraid to go back to Colorado to go to like face that if
Right.
he had to deal with that, and just a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm like, so all this time, these past 4 years, you've been telling me publish the book, publish the book, publish the book. I finally go and do it, and then this had to happen. So I went and wrote my story because this is my story as much as it's you know. By the way, if any of you read the book, you'll know that.
Right. Well,
So
Dylan actually sent me the email. So they published, and Jamie helped him get it done, and they got this book up and going, and they got an email to from a third-party representative and from Amazon that the book had to be taken down. They actually did send me those emails, so I've seen those, and that's what he's talking about with the book being taken down. What Chris had told him. That, which I hope you guys can hear him clearly, but in case you couldn't, that he had told him over and over, publish the book. And then he did. And then that happened, which let me ask you, Dylan. So this is not, your books with him were not your first books ever, right?
no, I showed him. I had him order my book when I was at Dodge with him to show him like, hey, I've done this before. Let's do this. You know, do something productive with your time. There's nothing else you can do but turn it into good. And all we did was study the Bible all day. It's like we can write something, and we did. We wrote a series, and I had to redact him from that series. That's why the 40-day devotional is now the 20-day devotional, and I had to redact his parts. And I'm just doing it on my own. But on my third book through this, I decided that I'm going to write that series because it's been weighing on me, and I haven't said nothing for like 4 years. And as far as him, I heard him saying to everybody about asking if did I believe he was innocent? And you're on the same page with that, the way you interpreted it, because he even believes he's not innocent. It's just the way that it went down. He wasn't alone. And how people don't know this, like, it's weird how she just disappeared after that too, and she's not surfacing anywhere.
I know.
I mean,
I wanted to ask you about that. Well, should I show the email from Amazon that says we've received a notice from a third party claiming the distribution of the following title? I do have that pulled up.
yeah, and the messages between my mom and his dad, where he's like, he sent in permission. So this just shows like my opinion of him never changed. He changed up.
Right.
So that's why you don't hear me telling him in the book, because I speak nothing but the facts. Like if I don't do lies because I can't keep track of lies, and that just makes stuff complicated.
Right.
And more work.
Yeah.
Enough on my plate.
Okay. Well, I can direct this one to Jamie because I think has more access to stuff. Where can people find this book and the other books? Like they're available more than just Amazon, right? Or
Yes, we also went through a company called Draft Digital, which they then distributed to Barnes and Noble, Apple Books, Google Books. If you
Okay.
Google the name of the book, it will give you all the outlets where you can find it.
okay. Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, so my next question is regarding what you said about him being innocent. And what I wrote was one thing I had misunderstood from the book and other interviews and other times that you had spoken out is I thought you believed Chris was innocent. And when we spoke the other day, that was one of the first things you said was, I don't believe he's innocent. He doesn't even think he's innocent. So can you expand on that at all? Like what you think?
My words were always taken out of context, like in that article. I said in that one interview in 2021 that if you look, because he's very like super spiritual, very positive. I said if you look up godly in the dictionary, it'll say Chris Watts, and the guy would have a picture of Chris Watts or whatever. And, I said that I don't believe he did what he's accused of. So if that's me saying he's innocent, okay, I didn't say he didn't do anything at all, though. That's not, never said that. So I never said the words, he is innocent.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up, because I think that's the way I took it as well. Okay, so the next one I have is not the first time you've been asked, but I am curious, and I want to get Jaime's thoughts on this too. But Dylan, what is your opinion of Chris now, and how has that evolved or changed throughout this process of like the book and it getting pulled and all of that stuff?
Has my opinion evolved after all that? No, my opinion of him hasn't evolved. Just his loyalties are shifting. So I'm not the one who switched up. He changed, but not my opinion of him.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, he wasn't loyal to Shanann either. You know, that's kind of what we had talked about the other day as well. So I feel like maybe I don't know who he is. I'm not really sure. Sometimes I don't know. I don't even know. I'm not even going to put my opinions or theories on it.
Oh, I will. I thought that so far on a spiritual path that he would not have done nothing like this. Like I looked up to him spiritually. Like he had the spirit, you know. And I couldn't. He had life. He was never getting old, but he was so positive. Just the way he was toward me, I believe this 1,000 years till I seen it. It's like, wow, okay, so here I am, 6 books under my belt now. 2 of these are about just that story. I have 4 other ones. But,
right.
Like I did this before I met him, and I'm going to keep going. Like, people who are, like, the haters are trying to say, like, oh, you're trying to get rich off him or get fame off him. I was already known for writing books. My dumb ass just kept going to prison. If I was out, I'd be at the top probably right now. If I was on my grind out there, I had no resources in here. I'm putting books out every couple of weeks.
Right.
And,
well, okay, just
trying to get inspiration to people around me. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I'm sorry. So you say that you looked up to him spiritually, and you had said on the phone the other day, you know, he knew all kinds of stuff out of the Bible off the top of his head. Like, it's crazy how much he remembered and was able to spit back at you.
If he was my scribe, I'd be like, look up, where's this psalm at in there? Psalms 49:6. And then I'd get to test him, like, hold on, look, where's this? And he'd tell me. I'd be like, where's this? He'd tell me, and that's when I called him Dustin Hoffman from Rain Man, like 236 toothpicks. Remember that part? So
yeah,
I tease him about that, but
yeah, it's crazy. Which that's kind of what we heard about him too before. Like, he was very literal, but also when it was stuff he was interested in, he would like dive right in and be very educated on it. And kind of,
he wasn't like anyone in there, and that's kind of why I flocked to him, because he was not like everybody else. And I had done over a decade of my time in prison with just the same type of individuals. He was a pure in heart guy. Like, I can get a good read on people. Yeah.
Right. Just one second. You guys in the chat, there is no deep breathing sound. I don't know if it's the frogs. I'm outside and there's nobody out here with me. But yeah, I think it's just the frogs, and I apologize. But okay, hi, being bio girl. So Jaime, do you have a theory on the case? Do you believe there's more to it than just like the official narrative that we've been told?
That's a hard one to answer, but I'll just say yes and leave it at that.
Okay.
I don't really have a lot of comments I can really go into with our time restraints right now.
Right.
He's told, Chris has told so many different versions, and I think if you piece them all together, you might get the truth. I think in the scripture he wrote, I got a lot out of that. Yeah, I don't really know where I stand now, but I do know with the way Chris did things to Dylan with the book, that did change a lot of opinions I had of him.
Right. Well, I don't blame you. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like pretty confusing, especially now that they've sent me everything, which I'm putting on the screen, you guys. Like, this is more emails with the third party representative. There are, you know, letters from Cindy, messages with Cindy and Dylan's mom, and
the messages are from Ronnie, not Cindy.
Oh, okay. Well, between Ronnie and it is. I mean, I'm confused. What the hell happened that made this book need to be pulled? You know, but let me see.
We have our theory on that, and if Dylan wants to take it from there, I'll just say that much.
Here's that one letter. Okay. Well, go ahead. And then I'll go to my next question.
We'll leave that up for now.
Okay.
If we have time. Just go ahead. You can ask your question.
Okay. So what is one thing that people would be surprised to know? Well, two things. So one thing about just prison life and Dodge specifically, and then one thing about your time with Chris and your friendship with Chris, or about Chris, that people would be surprised to know.
Other than that one day that he's, was told for that, he's actually one of the greatest guys I've ran across, even though I hate to say it right now, because kind of got me mad with this book thing, and Dodge is boring as hell, and the staff are petty. You just go there for intake, and basically, if you're not staff there, which is majority of the inmates are not, then you go out and get shipped to your other prison. It's just an intake place. It's nothing fancy or anything. Inmate workers, they work. I know it said in the article he was custodian. His job, he was custodian at the infirmary, and then on rec day he'll also help, push the wheelchair guys to rec. And then I was just in prison with him again, and last year actually I was just at rec with him and stuff. Got to run into him again.
Right.
And I'm on my way back because I get out. I'm in Marathon County Jail right now, and I go back to Dodge pretty soon, and I'll be there till wherever they ship me. But my release date's October or November. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm really curious what's going to happen when you do see him again.
As am I.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So next I want to talk about old Jezebel, because a lot of people are hung up on her. And, there's a part in the book where you talk about he gets a letter from someone that he believes could be her, and it like totally shakes him up. And I'm curious, like, if there was anything else with that, and did that happen any other times, or yeah.
Okay. So he got all quiet at mail time, and I know that means he gets hate mail. Something bad. So I'm like, what is it? And then he just told me, he's like, he got a letter from some chick and claiming that NK still loved him, sends her love or something like that. And I'm like, okay, what's the chick's name? He said her name was Becky, and I'm like, has this ever happened before? He's like, no, never. Because he's like, it was a hoax, and he ripped it up and flushed it even. I'm like, dude, that is her. You need to hang on to that letter. Like, he's like, I ripped it up and flushed it. I'm like, well, why would you do that? He's like, because I wasn't thinking when I did it. I was like, dude, that was her. I'm telling you, it had to have been, because if it's never happened before, that's just my belief. And then when I told him that, like, it's never happened, so it had to have been. Otherwise, the chick, if she was lying, she would have just faked like she was her.
Right.
She was passing him. I think it was. We believe it was Nicole writing him in a different.
So does he get hate mail? Because you said like when he gets all quiet, that's like when he gets hate mail.
Yeah, because usually I'm like, I didn't get mail. Let me live my life through you again, bro. What do you got? And then you get to reading stuff, and he get mail, like mostly women that are like sending him letters that, hey, I look like this. Big
you
titties.
a lot of that in the second book.
It was funny. I mean, yeah. So, but no, the hate mail. I remember a chick from Chicago, Illinois, told him that you need to say what happened and what really happened, and you deserve to die, and all types of stuff like that. When he gets hate mail, it's not very good.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it's just sick to me that he can get like that. There's so many fans of him. Well, let me ask you, actually, that was one of my questions I had written down. I'll just skip to it because it's kind of about that. Does he receive like money or commissary items or anything from like random women?
Yeah, but usually they'll write and say, hey, do you want me to put some money on your account, or do you need anything? Let me know. I'll do it. Stuff like that. But they do, but not a lot, not as much as you think. It was mostly his parents and Anna at the time put money on there. I put money on there so he could order me too, because I was at a different status than him. I couldn't get certain things.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now my next one would be about Anna, and then my next question I'm going to ask you, Jaime. But yeah, this one, you mentioned Anna in the book. Who was Anna for people who don't know, and what happened with her?
That was his girlfriend. She's from Green Bay, Wisconsin. She reached out to him shortly after he got there, and they ended up hooking up. And when I ran into him January of 2020, he was already going strong with her. But then she was still married. In the Bible, it says that's not proper. Basically, it's a sin. And she was supposed to like get divorced or whatever, and some enmity came up between her and his parents, and stuff to do with they're both trying to get power of attorneys. I don't know. There's a lot of confusing stuff, but
Right.
he stopped talking to her completely, and she reached out to me like, "Why is he talking?" And I asked him. He's like, "Tell her Micah 7:5 in the Bible." And that says basically, do not trust the one who resides in your bosom or whatever. Or I don't have the Bible in front of me, but that's what it means. Do not guard the gate to your mouth to the one, particularly to your girl. That's what he got out of it. Then she's like, tell him, because I had to tell her this for him. Right? She's like, tell him Micah 7:6, and that's do not trust those of your own household. So that was that argument. It was a scripture argument, and there'd be a lot of those. Those are funny.
Yeah, that is funny. They like speak through scripture to each other, which I felt like, you know.
Go
Go ahead.
I hung out with her once when I got out. She's actually a really good person, man.
Oh,
He doesn't
okay.
think ill of her.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so Jaime, I know that you have been a huge part of helping get this book out there and that kind of stuff. And is there anything you would want to say to people who, well, I know you've got some pretty nasty comments and some pretty gross stuff said to you. And is there anything that you would like to say about that experience or to those people or anything regarding that?
I don't want to put a lot of time on giving them the attention they're looking for, but I do want to say this, and I'm going to be flat out honest here. I have been told by people that, they hope my kids wind up in oil tanks because I'm, helping Dylan and the relationship he and I have, that, they're wishing many bad things upon me. I'm not going to go into all of them because it's been absolutely ridiculous.
Well, you're young, so you won't take all of them. Remember?
Yeah. Hey, let's leave my kids out of it for the rest of it. But I guess my point is, I don't really care what they think. It's not gonna deter Dylan and I from books or plans or whatever we're gonna do.
Right.
So when they think it's getting to me, some nights it's entertaining because I literally will laugh out loud and I'll read some of them to Dylan. He's like, no. I'm like, yeah, that's what they're saying. And they had also mentioned, if Dylan was any type of guy, he wouldn't put you in this position. And I'm like, I have thick skin. I'm a grown woman. I can handle myself here. And I just think what they need to know is they're arguing with themselves at this point. Because we have our plans with the books and other plans, and whatever we do in life doesn't affect them at all. And so many other authors have written books about the case, and nobody hates them. Chris has fans after what he did. Dylan writes books, and everyone hates him. I can't make that whole thing make sense. And that's all I'll say on that topic.
Well, yeah, that's
everybody.
It just disgusts me that people can be so hateful towards you when, like you said, Chris has fans and things like that, and you get comments like that. That's why I do appreciate you even being willing to answer questions, because I wouldn't blame you if you were like, fuck this, I'm not gonna.
Well, no, because what I have realized is, and going back over some of these messages and comments and everything, I have been nothing but respectful. Even to the worst comments, I'm like, I'm sorry you feel that way. And I've been nothing but respectful to everyone. But it's like when they come at me, they're coming at Dylan too. So I'm going to just, it's not going to, no. That's all I can say is no.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need to leave you alone. Target that hate toward me, because I love the hate. I mean, I was born for adversity. I mean, my whole life I've been shit on my whole life. I've been locked up almost 15 years over that. And this is what I know. I've self-educated myself throughout the years, because I was like, I don't want to be like one of these idiots. I'm going to get out. I'm going to apply myself. And then I started to get real smart. And I applied myself. I started writing. I'm like, I can write books. I can do this. I kept at it over 10 years. And finally, this year, it just started taking off. As soon as I met Jaime, our intelligence was compatible with one another. It elevated me and my vision. Right. And together we're grown. We're doing this, and nobody can take that. Can take what I do and what I've done from you.
Right.
Nobody.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
As far as us working together, I had mentioned this to you earlier, Allie. We've both worked through this with these books, sick, stressed, tired. We've had to push each other on our bad days. He's like, I don't feel like writing. I'm like, get it done. Or, he'll call me and I'm like, I don't feel like typing this. He's like, get it done. And we have a way of working off of each other and many situations, be it a day with anxiety or a day of being sick or a day of working on the books, that we have been able to click and vibe in a way to get stuff done. And that seems to be what pisses people off.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and the more they get pissed off, the more motivated we are to do our plans.
right. Well, I don't know. I want to hear the story. I'm glad you're speaking. I'm glad you guys are telling it. And I think that at this point, it is everybody's story and experience, Dylan's and even yours now, Jamie, to a degree. So I'm glad that you guys are talking about it.
Yeah, I did not expect to ever be where I am now in this story. I'll just say that. You know, it wasn't, I have been accused online of, I write to multiple inmates until I'm able to snag one.
Oh, gosh.
See, that's not how Dylan and I met.
Right.
Dylan and I met by a freak accident. And yeah.
Hey, Jonesin.
So yeah, that's just that.
Okay. Well, I love that answer. I think that, yeah, I'm just, like I said, again, I'm glad you're telling your story. So, okay, the next question I have is, there was like a lot of there was some news out at one time about pictures that Chris had in his cell and about him kind of communicating with these pictures. I mean, the internet was furious. The Facebook groups wanted him to take them down. What can you guys tell me about that?
Well, I was there. I can tell you that he had his photos in a photo album. I didn't see any hanging on his walls. But he had pictures of his family, and he didn't. No, there's nothing weird that he was doing. I don't know where'd you see that?
I saw,
I didn't
like,
even know.
yeah, I remember seeing, like, I don't know if, you know, it could have been Inside Edition or Daily Mail or whatever, but I remember.
I have the answer.
Okay, go ahead, Jamie.
It was an Inside Edition piece that picked it up, and then pretty much all of the social media groups ran with it. There was even a TikTok recently about it that someone said that every night he read a bedtime story to the girls' pictures.
Yeah.
No, absolutely
and I'm like,
not.
yeah, no.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. You so quickly were like, no, absolutely not.
I heard him telling stories because I'm right there. I would have heard him and saw him doing it. No, he didn't. He didn't. If he did, I'd be like, I'd have to pull him aside, like, hey, bro, don't be doing that. But no.
Right.
Weird.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's nothing to laugh at. He's out there like that, and I was gonna get into some other stuff. I'll just hear your questions.
Well, you can get into whatever you want. I do have more questions, but go ahead and, yeah, don't let, like, if you have something to say, feel free to say it. And yeah,
we're trying our best not to talk over each other because Dylan and I have very bad habits with that.
She does. I don't.
No. Mm-mm. We're not doing this now.
Okay, so
I would like to point out real quick, though, if you do hear an exchange between Dylan and I that sounds like less than nice, we're just totally kidding with each other. That's just our normal conversation when we get too comfortable.
right.
Okay.
Okay. So, Dylan, did you ever see any like real sadness, remorse, regret, heartbreak? Did you ever feel like you saw that from Chris?
I'd know when something's bothering him. It'd be like recent things bothering him, but he kept the channel pretty cool all the time. It took me months just to be able to start to learn how to read him. You'd have to read them to know that something's going on. You never know. So,
right.
I was able to pick up on things. And it wasn't easy to do that. It's like I envied that, how he could stay cool in control. Like he'd always read the Proverbs, Ecclesiastes 7:9. Do not be quickly provoked in spirit, for anger resides in the lap of fools. say that to me all the time, and I'd be like, I know. With this,
Oh, it's just the way I know that. I know the way you say that.
That's crazy though, and it makes me wonder like what psychologically is going on with him for him to be able to always remain so kind of cool, calm, collected. And then yeah, it's just kind of wild. But okay, so go ahead.
There's always a woman that can get to him and
right,
get him out of his element, get him to feel some type of way. It always be a woman. That's his kryptonite. It's his weakness. And a lot of with the case, that's what that boils down to. I talk about it. I break everything down really in part 2. So I don't want to ruin it because you'll know how the mistress was involved and that she was, and what happened, and how he didn't leave with her body because it was left there when he went to work. Like there's a lot of other facts that I don't want to get into because like this is my story and you're gonna have to read it. You're gonna have to buy it. But I'll answer any other questions that don't spoil. I don't want to spoil it. And it's like telling me, hey, this movie is like, and I'm telling you the end. You don't want that. Everyone's gonna get pissed. So,
right. Well, I bought it, so I'm gonna be looking forward to reading the next part. But okay, so another thing that you kind of touch on in the book, and we've heard otherwise as well, is in Colorado that he probably wouldn't have survived having been kept in prison there. Did you guys ever talk about that? And then did the guards and inmates in Wisconsin at Dodge know his, like, I mean, it was on Netflix. I would think that anywhere he went, he would be unsafe. But yeah.
Everybody knew. They had first, when he came to Unit 11, they had these back holding cells down a small hallway. And they had to place him in there first when he came to Dodge for 40 days. And that's kind of where I came up with the idea, plus off the Bible, the 40-day devotional in the wilderness. But anyway, that's book 1. We have several others. I'll get into that after. But yeah, he was placed back there for the first, because he's all over the news, all over the TV, everything. So for like 40 days, and then they let him come out to, at 11. That's intake will go there, like disabled people or people psychological problems or behavioral issues or high profile. And he was there for high profile, and they end up settling next to him. And so we're our outlets. Because in Dodge, when you can knock on the wall and be like, hey, and then come to the outlet, it's like just like this, like we're on the phone. So we heard each other all day long, every day.
Right.
Yeah. So everyone knew. And well, except me, I just got out of the hole. I was turning up, and then when I came next to him, I didn't even know who he was. But I mean, I found out fast. But yeah.
Yeah.
Guards didn't discuss with him. No COs talked about anything really personal with him. It was just policies and procedures or sports. Like, there was no talk of any of that. No.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because I've been reading through the jail files of another person from another case, and I noticed in those files, the guards would put things about how they're not allowed to talk to her about her case and stuff like that. So I didn't know if like the guards, if that was kind of a standard thing that they're not really allowed to talk to you guys about your cases, or if they just try not to, or what?
They're not supposed to. That's like fraternization. Basically, if you get too, especially talking about someone's case. I mean, we talk about our cases to the guards. We're like, man, this is beautiful for this and that. This bullshit. And everyone's got a story about how they didn't do what they're in there for. I understand that because 64% of convictions come from cases that have no physical evidence.
Right.
And I just heard that statistic the other day from a lawyer, and I actually put it in book 2. But no, they don't. Cases like his, they're saying you murdered your pregnant wife and your 2 little girls that are like 3 and 4. No.
Okay.
They're not about that. And his case is more sensitive, so they're extra cautious on not being able to talk to him about anything like that.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Did you ever see that video of Bella singing that he was her hero in the car?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God.
I didn't watch it. When I got out of prison, and I just sat all that time with him, I wasn't getting out there watching movies about him. Like, I saw Chris walking by his cell. I've seen him taking shit. I don't want to watch him in a movie or anything. Like, I know him. He told me, his version of it. And what I heard about the Netflix thing, I watched the first half of it, and then when it started to get, like that other stuff, I watched the first half, the positive stuff. I was like, I shut it off. My mom was like, "Why'd you shut it off?" I said, "Because that's the guy. No, I don't want to see the best."
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh God, it is just absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, that right after I'd read your book, I was recommended the video on TikTok, and it's just fresh on my mind. Okay, so do you expect to talk to him when you go back to Dodge?
Yeah, I'll see him.
Do you look forward to that?
Yeah, I'll book for him or something. Like, this could have been you.
Right.
I don't know. I really don't. I'm just, hey, what's up?
Yeah. Well, I wonder what he'll have to say after the books and all that. And you could ask him about the third-party representative. Like.
Oh, that's exactly. I told him in a letter I wrote. I said, you know what? I said, okay. This is where we at, huh? I said, I'll just see you when I get there. That's what I said to him. That was the last thing I said in my letter. And we'll talk about this face to face. Like, you really got me mad. And not mad, just upset me. Like, dude, why did you have me do all this work for 4 years? You were like, dude, especially Cindy, like, get the book published, get the book published. Finally, I set it off and published the first book. And then this happens. And now, you know how that makes me look as a writer?
Right. Yeah, I'd be upset too.
Yeah.
So
I was just misled.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now in the book you talk about how you basically were kind of like the muscle between you two. And I'm curious, like, was he because and Christine G had a question similar to this. How is he perceived by his peers and guards in jail? And I thought, is he perceived as kind of like weak or soft in a way?
Not at all. Because he doesn't carry himself like an idiot, so he doesn't get into it with people. Now, he's not. Everyone knows who he is. Basically, everybody there has a lifetime to do it too, and they're trying to be in Dodge because if you're a max inmate, you're medium status there. You can be out of your cell all day long, and that's the luxury of it compared to other maxes that I've been in. I've been in Columbia Correctional Institution, and we could only come out 1 hour a day. And then if a staff or somebody got stabbed up, then we're going to be on lockdown a month, and we can't even come out. First week, we might not get to shower. Like, I've done some hard time, and he's lucky. He is where he is, and he's got it like that. You know,
Yeah. Well, I mean, those files I was just talking about going through, this woman, she's accused of also killing a child, her stepson. And in the incident reports, there are multiple times that other inmates have went up to the guards and been like, I can't be near her, or I'm gonna whip her ass and I'm not gonna be able to go home. Like, you got to get me out of here. People that are in jail away from their kids and stuff, they don't take super kindly to people that are in there for hurting them. Right.
They don't take to people like that. They don't take kindly to child molesters. They don't take kindly to mainly murdering women and children and child molesters. But more of the child molesters are the ones that do not have it good in prison.
Right.
His case, I heard someone yelled something walking the track outside.
This will end in 1 minute.
Hold on, let me call back.
Okay. Don't hang up, Allie.
Okay.
The individual hung up. Goodbye.
Okay, I'll be able to merge him back in just a second.
Okay.
We only get 45 minutes at a time.
Okay.
Hang on there, Jens. Hold on.
Perfect. Thank you, Past. And thank you guys for being here. And be careful, Mayla's mom. And yeah, thank you guys for just asking your questions, but doing it
and has a maximum
respectfully.
Of 45 minutes.
Okay, we're all back.
So we were walking the track out at Rick, and some guy yelled, "Daddy killer." I didn't hear him because I was way ahead of Chris. But when I caught up to him, like a lap later or something, he looked, his visage was kind of down. I was like, "What?" I was like, what's going on? You all right? He's like, "Oh, it's nothing." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Some dude just," he told me that what dude did yell and called him that. So I'm like, "All right, wait till we walk along and say something." Then we get up to where the window is, and I'm like, "Hey." And then I threatened the dude, and I was like, "When I see you, I'll break your fucking nose. And don't be yelling no more shit when we yell." The dude wouldn't show his face. He's like hiding on the side of the window. He didn't want me to see who he was. And yeah, like, so people do say things. Other inmates, like, that was like some window warrior stuff, though. That was through a window and physically, like, I don't know. People do that.
Wow. Yeah. I'm not surprised because, like I said, like, think about it. You're in jail being kept from your kids because maybe you robbed somebody or didn't pay your taxes or got a DUI. And then you're seeing people in there that are in there for taking the lives of their kids. I'm sure it would be infuriating. But that's just kind of my perspective. I don't know.
Like, I don't approve of people who hurt women and children, and nor do I condone in it. So I don't.
Right.
I don't endorse either. Like, everyone in prison, everyone's got some messed up cases. That's all I've been around my whole life. And him versus any other person, I try not to judge people because Matthew 7:1-2 says judge and judge not, be not judged, for the same measure you judge with be measured back upon you. I try to, like, live scripture like that,
Yeah.
Keep it etched in my heart. And life will be much easier. You just try not to judge people and just be your own judge. Like,
yeah. That's true. I mean, but I guess it's part of the human condition that we, I don't know. It's tough, but okay. So Riley, a chatter asked you, did he know about Letitia? And this is a woman that killed her son. But to make that question her stepson, to make that question more broad, did you guys ever talk about other cases, other true crime, things like that at all?
I heard it. A guy went up to him and we're at chapel. He's like, "Hey, man, Chris Watts, right?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh man, I heard about your case, this and that. He's like, I was locked up where they had Jeffrey Dahmer. And I'm like, hey, man, enough with that shit. How dare you compare him to a person who eats people? Then I was like, I was locked up with Jeffrey Dahmer too, or not with, he was dead already. I was locked up where they killed him. I never mentioned stuff, Thru. But no, we didn't talk about other cases. Really, no.
Interesting. Okay, and then let me see. There was just a couple more, and then I guess I'll let you go. And if you said you might be willing to come on and answer more, so I'd ask people to leave them in the comments after I read the second book. Then maybe we can ask some more questions. But
I've kept up with some of the comment questions that I could answer.
Okay, go ahead, Jaime. Yeah,
I'm trying to multitask and I suck at it, so I'm trying.
No, you're doing great, and that's okay. Go ahead and answer any that you have in mind that you think that you can answer.
That's what I've kind of been working on while you guys are talking. The simple ones.
Okay, and then do you guys think, either one of you guys think that his family knows that there's more to the story besides, the official narrative?
I 100% believe that.
His mother always asks me. I know he didn't, in my heart, kill the kid. Did he kill his daughter? Did he kill them? This and that. Like, to this day, she'll ask me. Like, I don't think he's 100% open with them, because why would she be asking me all the time?
Right.
So, I know they know. Of course, they know there's more to the story, but he doesn't want to relive this. Like, he's so low key. He's never even here. Well, I had a 7-month interview with him. He was right next door, because I didn't even realize that I was interviewing him. My character, I ask a lot of questions and pay attention to the details. So I have stories after stories. Like, I might even do a part 3 because I have to add some stuff.
Right.
Just serious, but yeah. And I appreciate everybody for, buying it and wanting to hear my story, because all these other authors that wrote about this case, they didn't know him. 1 year after his conviction, I sat with him and we did our time together.
I'd like to add something, if possible, when there's a break in the conversation.
He called me his spiritual brother, even in that stuff I sent you. Like, in that book, he referred to me as his brother, and what do brothers do? They confide in each other. They talk about things. I heard his story in broken pieces, but when I put it together, and I had to jog my memory writing these books from way back. Like, if I would have known I was interviewing, I was going to write a book about this, I would have been taking notes.
Right.
Yeah.
During that time. Go ahead, Jaime.
I think I lost the thought because I was in shock.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I do that often.
Oh, I got it back.
I do it all.
Look, damn it. People always have been asking, why wasn't this done in one book? Why is there a part 1? Why is there a part 2? Why might there be a part 3? One, it's a lot of information to remember. And 2, we had to take things into consideration because of the other book getting pulled. I had to look into what could be done for copyrights for the cover, or what could be mentioned and what not. And research had to get into this. And This was also, around the time that I was dealing with some stuff in my life, of course, as was Dylan. So we just felt it would be better to do a part 1 and 2 so we could put something out there first and then do a second one. Everybody's like, no, it's a money grab. No, it was what worked best for Dylan, and then for me with getting it typed and published. So as far as it being a money grab, no. It's just the way it worked out. Writing.
Okay. Well, thank you.
So I just kind of
Because,
want to put
yeah.
that rumor to rest.
Well, I think that's good because I was curious too, kind of why was there, that was one of my first thoughts. So I'm glad that you've answered that. I was kind of like, ooh, there's a part two. I just was like, I wonder why it wasn't put in part one. That was just like my natural thought, you know? So I'm glad that you answered that.
I didn't know how much else to put out there either. It just happened. So,
Right.
yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Did he ever talk about like when Cheryl and Cadle came and interviewed him and wrote the book? Oh yeah.
He said she was a wolf in sheep's clothing, and she just spread lies and was about lies. She basically, I don't know, like she made him some promises, and they got her letter to him. She
I actually have that.
She's evil. She was a wolf and she's clothing. Like what she did, she just assassinated his character, and he did not. After that, his trust with people, his wall was up.
Right.
Like he would not trust anybody. And I put it in his head. I let him know, like, hey, I put it on his heart. Like, you can't trust anybody, friends, family, nothing. You gotta. This is, you know, with his situation, it's a lot on his. I know it's a lot of grief on him too. People are like, I said something about part two, like my condolences goes out. This is a horrendous case, this tragedy, but I can't leave out that it was a tragedy of his as well, because it was and it is, and it does weigh on him. You asked about pictures. He has photos in his. I remember I answered it, but he has photos of all his family, all of them. In his photo album.
Oh, so like, do you get to keep like an album of photos in there?
Well, now you get them on paper. Back when it was, you could mail regular pictures. Yes, you can't get regular pictures anymore. You got to get them like people like that text behind. Like me, I go through Sydney. I can still get mail here, but it's you got to do everything by email and there, and you can send pictures and it'll arrive to him like printed off, or if you're not on his list of people, friends on his email list, they'll print it off and give it to him. Pictures, letter, whatever. But it will cost you money to do. It's just more money. You gotta start and get an account on text behind.
Well, you know, people believe, and I see it in the chat right now, people believe that he was forced, took his pictures from him. Did they take any? Or that you know of? Okay.
No.
Okay. And then the last thing I have, and then I can let you go and we can.
Has ended. Goodbye.
Uh-oh. What happened?
I don't know why he just dropped off like that.
Okay. Well,
he'll probably call back in a second.
The last thing I was going to say anyways was I have a theory as to why those books weren't, or the book was pulled in this third party representative. And that's kind of because of what you told me. Like when you read it, you could see,
oh, hang on.
Press.
Hello?
Oh, he's got to try again, I guess.
Okay. Well, you can answer this one anyways, and then like we can always come on again if we have more questions and you guys are willing. But you had said that in the devotional that if you knew the case and you were reading his entries, Chris's entries specifically, that it told a story basically about the case, right? And that my theory is that's why it's gone. That's why they don't want it out there.
That is my theory as well. When I received file the entire Dylan is calling. Hang on.
Okay.
Link of 45 minutes.
Hello?
Okay, I don't know what happened.
I don't know either. Tablets are stupid. I'm out of the day room now.
All right, the question I was answering. Okay, when I was reading them, we're talking about the entries, and I had never seen them before. You know, I had just gotten a hold of them, and as I was reading them, I'm like, no way. And I got like this really kind of like eerie feeling. And then I read another one, and I'm like, no shit. And then I read another one, and I'm like, I need to stop reading this right now, because knowing what I've heard and reading that, and you just like put it together, and it's all right there.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I had that book.
It was creepy. It was creepy.
Mm.
Well, I mean, the one entries I sent you, it was like the one, you know, the one you were.
This call has ended. Goodbye.
Hello?
What in the world?
The system is probably having issues, because he always blames it on me. That phone. But
Okay.
he'll call back again. But I mean, the thing with the entries, that has to be why he did not want it out there. But why did he write it in the first place is my question.
I don't know. I'm bewildered by it too. Maybe at a point he wanted it out there and changed
Call
his
is being
mind, or
recorded and has a maximum call length of 45 minutes.
Keep ending my call. Someone's messing with me.
Who's messing with you?
They must be listening to me interviewing or whatever, but I just called on my account now. It kept saying, it just says this call is ended past 9:30. So,
Okay.
okay.
yeah, I think it's somebody here, one of the staff members are listening in to me interview, and they don't like it.
Okay.
And
Well-
I haven't said nothing ill about Marathon County Jail, but I should.
No, you shouldn't. You should not.
I should.
It could be something with the system.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all I've got for tonight anyways. And then after I do part 2, if you want to answer more, I did say something while you were gone though, Dylan, just that my theory was because his entries told a story regarding the case, that all this third party representative stuff has happened, and either he's changed his mind or other people don't want that out there. But
I think it's a little all three. Because the reply I got from his mother was all over the place. So, and that's what I elaborated to you previously in this interview.
yeah. Well, I can always put out those text messages too, but I was going to ask you guys, like, it's confusing for me because it's all in one message. You know what I mean? The responses.
Yeah, Dylan's mom had some trouble with that, and I was like, why does it look like that? And that's how I can do it. I'm like, fix it. And we're back and forth. Look, he knows how the conversations.
You don't know the technology.
So I can spread it out, and we'll talk to you separately and tell you who said what.
Okay, that'll be
'Cause
perfect.
Dylan's
Yeah.
mom and technology give me gray hair.
No, that's okay.
He said, that Chris is sending his permission to me for me to publish the book, and he said to send it to my mom, and he's gonna send it to her and her address, and she put her address down for him.
Yeah,
Or they already have that.
she put it in there because I had Allie black it out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I also want to say, basically, I came a long way. You know, the life.
This call has ended. Goodbye.
I think he is gone for the night because it's after time, and that is very weird that they keep cutting off the calls.
Well, that's okay. We can always, like, if you guys still want to, and people have more questions and you want to answer. Plus, I don't know what I'm going to stumble across in the second book. So I might have more
You're
questions.
more than welcome to text me or call me at any time. Dylan and I talk often. I can, get questions to him, or, we can chat privately.
Okay.
Yeah, my phone line is always open to you, and I will go through the comments, answer what I can.
Okay.
I know I've seen, I have a few minutes now. Someone asked if Dylan had kids. He does not. They had asked, was he in prison now? No, he's in a county jail. And someone had said up here, I can't find a name, but I think the comments, this person said, I just realized there is something illegal going on with a 3-way phone call. It is not illegal for him to have a 3-way phone call in Marathon County Jail.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Just putting that out there that we're not doing anything illegal here. We talked to his mom and everything, and you can do a conference call.
Okay.
The rules are not as strict as they are in a prison.
Okay. Awesome. And I just want to tell you, thank you for even being willing to come on to answer stuff, and not even like there was nothing that I was told, hey, please don't ask about this. Nothing like that. And I just appreciate you being open and kind and all of that stuff. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
We appreciate you too, because, we had thought about maybe doing something like this, but I wasn't comfortable. But immediately talking to you, I felt comfortable. It was like talking to just a friend or another person.
Awesome.
Other people have questioned me, and I'm not going to name names, and they have asked me to speak on Dylan and things of that. And I said, absolutely not. And, Dylan had been in a bad position before with, I won't name the name, but with another woman. And I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, who went and did her own thing. And I was not going to do that to him.
Yeah.
So when I told him about you, he said, if you'll do it with me, we can do it together. I'd be more than happy to talk to her. And I said, good, because I'm not going to if you don't.
Yeah.
And I just think having that level of respect for someone is important.
I do too.
And we really appreciate you and making both of us comfortable and allowing us to speak.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. And yeah, I like, this is my thing. I want to hear, I think you have a story to tell, both of you. I want to hear it. I cannot imagine why you would ever want to tell your story with people being assholes and being, so I try to keep it. I
think for me personally, I want to tell my part of the story because people are being assholes. They need to see that, I am a human being. So is Dylan. We are just people.
Right.
We're not the monsters people are making us out to be. I mean, there's days where Dylan and I will work our asses off getting books done. There's other days where we'll talk 3, 4, 5, 6 times and just, kicking it, vibing, talking, and not doing business, doing us. And to find both of those things in one person, that you can really connect with is rare. And we're not going to let anyone deter our work, our friendship, any of that because of their opinion.
Yeah. And I think it's hard because, people on the internet, they have a lot of opinions and they don't sometimes, I do it too. I get stuck inside my own way of thinking and you forget that the people that you're in these cases, or in this instance, you guys, you're not, you're aligned with the case or, not in the case, but part of it now. People want to look at things through the lens of the life they've lived and not really look at it as these are fluid people, real people in a situation. I don't know. It can just be tough. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just so.
It definitely can, but I think I told you separately that I have a hard time with worrying about what people in real life think of me and my decisions, because in the end, I know that I am a good person. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm helping someone. I'm good. So from just people on the internet, it's like, why? You know what I mean? And I really don't care what they say, but some of it is just like, how sick are these people to come up with the stuff they say?
Right. Yeah.
It's just, that's the baffling part to me.
Yeah, and even like what you had mentioned earlier, some of the things that have been said to you. I mean, God, people are just, I don't know.
It's absolutely crazy. And I'm going to end this in a second because I am starving, but I haven't even eaten dinner yet. I just want everybody to know Dylan. He is intelligent. He is an amazing guy. I have never caught him in one lie. He has never, had any crimes related to women and children. He is just an all-around good guy. And if I could just get that out there for people to know, maybe they would, have a little more understanding toward him.
Right.
I feel lucky to have met him, and I know he feels the same with me. And no matter what people say, I just want him to know that we're good.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And again, thank you for being here and being just so quick to answer any questions, helpful. I appreciate you. And I hope that you'll come back. Yeah.
Oh, we definitely will. And I'll be in touch with you probably tomorrow. Just to follow up with some stuff. Once
Okay.
Dylan and I talk again.
All right. That sounds perfect to me. And I hope you have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, you too. Thanks everybody for watching.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Okay, you guys. That was interesting. I appreciated it. I know that it's a lot. There's a lot, right? There's so much that I probably even forgot to ask that I wanted to. And that's why I'm glad that we can potentially do this at another time again or whatever. I just appreciate you guys being so kind in the chat and asking great questions. And even those of you who I didn't know you got timed out, Aunt Cray. I'm sorry. But I got a lot of love for you. And yeah, I just appreciate all you guys. I understand it's a tough subject. It really is, especially when many of you guys, I know for me, this case touched me deeper than almost any other case ever has. There was a point in time where I felt like I truly knew the kids and just from watching all the home videos, and I don't know, it's just close to my heart. And I know it can be tough for people. It's emotional. So I appreciate you guys, all of you. And I appreciate you, Dylan and Jaime. I appreciate all you guys, and I hope you have a lovely night. And thank you for being here with me. And yeah, we will talk more about it later. After we sleep on it and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm going to have some thoughts. I'm going to be looking for a short video with the most major points. Maybe I can do not only the major points in the book, but also from this interview. And I can clip together some things. And for people who aren't fans of the live stream and, not fans of the scattered way my brain is thinking right now, I'll try to get it into an easier way for you to consume. Thank you to the mods. I really appreciate you guys. Appreciate the chat. Appreciate you. Like I said, Jaime and Dylan, thank you guys. And I hope you have a lovely night, and I'll see you soon. Bye.